Good evening, everybody. I'm Max Keller alongside Nate Stein, and we're in MBA's new facility. And might I say, it's pretty nice, Nate. What are your thoughts on this facility?
Yeah, this is just a spectacular building. The basketball court in and of itself is gorgeous. You can see one of the 4 corner jumbotrons at the top of your screen right now. But just everything around here as well, it's incredible. They did a spectacular job. This is a new facility. And I got to say, Brownlee O. Curry Jr. Court is probably the nicest basketball gym that I've ever called a game in my 10 years on air.
We talked about this a little bit before the game. It is something to marvel at. But, I wanted to get that out of the way. Probably one of the few things nice about NBA, because we're in here for a rivalry game. We're on the Ensworth side, visiting crowd, different scene. It's going to be an interesting one. Ensworth with a limited roster, 8 players tonight. Rotational minutes will be up for everybody, so you have to be ready for the physicality of this game with 8 players, and it's NBA, so it's already going to be a physical game. But we will be back after the anthem for the start of this game. They say it on roll rat. They say it there. We are back after the anthem. Once again, I'm Max Keller alongside Nate Stein. We are here for the rivalry game between your Ensworth Tigers and the Montgomery Bell Academy Big Red. The records are kind of all over the place. NBA only playing 8 games coming into here, 6-2. Good record with win percentage, but not a lot of game to stack up there, and not a lot of tape to go through. Ensworth, meanwhile, 11-7 coming into this game. It's been a lot of up and down this season, obviously, for just so many reasons. COVID has been so clear, but the TSAA and all these schools have done such a good job and allowed us to have a great season. I've been having a great time. We've been bringing it to you all year, and it is senior night here at MBA. We're going through the starting lineups now. Like I said, for Ensworth, they have an 8-man rotation tonight. Starting lineup consists of Mason Curtis, Tony Gaines, Devaki Gar, Malik Dia, and John Kelly. It's going to be an interesting game plan for Ensworth tonight. We're going to see what Coach Bowers has whipped up for the team. You know that there's going to be – actually, I don't even know what I'm here to expect. I don't know if you have any ideas, Nate, about what you want to see and how you plan for a game that you know can be extra long with this shorter rotation.
It's always interesting when you're missing guys, but especially when you're missing this many guys. And listen, you look at some of the upper-level teams, and you'll get into the playoffs, and then they'll start shortening up the rotations, going 7, 8 guys. This is not that. This is not a purposely shortened rotation. This is a team that, frankly, has been pillaged this season. They've lost a lot of players. They lost the Clark brothers to COVID concerns. Right now, there's no Noah Jameson, no Fred Butler tonight, so that's 4 guys that were on this roster at the beginning of the season that just aren't anymore, or at least not for tonight.
Right.
So this team's going to need to run. This Ensworth team is going to need to conserve energy where they can, but they're just going to really need to play hard-nosed defense. That's the only way you can win a game like this. You almost need to slow the pace down.
And the starting 5 for MBA is Will Montana, Luke Jackson, Max Dillon, Daniel Gaw, and Miles Versa, seniors for the starting lineup. Devaki Gar out to Gaines to start the game. Ensworth going to have to get inside the paint, see if they can work Dia early. The 4-star prospect has had a great year this year. He's getting better with every game. A nice fadeaway there. You don't mind that shot. Rims in and out. Thought he had a pretty good look there. Dia's going to be the key tonight. Can he be a playmaker and a scorer from inside that paint? Montana right back on the drive. Kicks out to Versa. Out over to Dillon. Dillon for 3. Dillon air balls. Short, a little bit of nerves there. On the steal, Will Montana up. And an one, they're going to call.
That's an offensive foul right there.
Yeah,
that's a charge.
Call a charge on Will Montana. I apologize. I heard the Roll Red crowd get into it. But that will be a charge. And so Ensworth will walk away with the ball after almost losing it. You don't want to turn over the ball off of the rebound there. So now Curtis over to Gar. Gar's going to have to get going shooting the ball tonight. Speaking of which, first shot is airballed. And NBA letting him hear it. Versa back up the court, taking on Gaines. And now to Daniel Gaw. Gaw up and out of bounds off the top of the basket there. So a little bit of a weird start to this game.
Yeah, nobody able to get anything going so far. Gaw, I like seeing the senior taking his shot. Not usually a starter, but getting in there tonight and, take advantage of it. I respect that move.
And now Kelly gets the ball, one of the seniors for the Tigers this year, and I believe the only senior playing tonight. He's going to be crucial. He's been shooting the ball so much better. Gar over to Kelly, and NBA still not letting Devaki Gar forget that he airballed that previous shot. Definitely some away crowd influence. Gaines on the rebound, and Gar steps out of bounds. Would have been out of bounds anyways. You see Tony Gaines make the effort plays that he has made all season. Didn't pay off there, but he has been the utility Swiss Army knife for this Ensworth Tiger team. And so now, off the inbound, Montana back to Versa. Checking into the game is the usual rotation. Francis comes in, and Marcel Reed also enters the game. Good steal there from Kenny McKinley, one of the new additions to this team later on the season. He has been another energy player similar to Tony Gaines, and he can play that low post a little bit. And into Dia being double teamed. Dia looking for somewhere to go, out to Gar. The environment in here for the limited amount of crowd is superb. Ensworth is going to have to stay calm and controlled. Into Dia. Dia drives, and Dia stolen by Versa on the help. Good defense from NBA. Clearly has a help side plan. And a foul called against John Kelly there.
Good help defense by Versa. I mean, just came back, brought the double team to Dia. We're going to see that all night. It's something that Dia should be expecting at this point. He made the right move initially, turning away from it, but just took a little bit too long.
And the first free throw is no good from Versa. Versa had a good game the first time around, but the real problem for Ensworth defensively was number 22, Jackson Francis. He had himself a bully ball type game, just getting to the rim. See if Ensworth makes adjustments in that department. Still a 0-0 game. 5 minutes and 39 to go in the first period. Versa misses 0 for 2. Weird start. But Tony Gaines is going to set up the offense this time around. Tony is going to have to get the ball going opposite, actually. He's got to drive some more. We know that Ensworth doesn't really shoot the three ball besides Devaki Gar and a little bit of Malik Dia on the stretch. Devaki Gar over to Dia. Dia on the pump fake. Dia on the mid-range. Dia with a little bit of a short shot there. Not sure he was confident going up with that one. And Reed over to Francis, and Francis gets the first basket of the game, 2-0 MBA, and MBA with just complete home court advantage here. And
I'm wondering if the fans are affecting MBA as much as they're affecting Ensworth, because it's not like MBA's had fans in the stands all season long. Nobody has. This is extra noise for everybody involved.
That's an interesting point. The crowd has fluctuated in size all season long. So now Parker Wainwright, top of the key. He's been playing the best basketball of his career later in this season. NBA letting Devaki Gar have it. And Grayson Morgan comes over and gets the steal. The big man getting it done with the active hands. Montana up the court, being guarded by McKinley. Montana tried to get it to the corner to Francis, but Wainwright tipped it up to Gaines, and now Gaines on the fast break. Gaines goes up and through. Gaines with a tough finish, and Dia couldn't get the rebound. Just a little bit awkward for Ensworth so far on the offensive side of the ball, although I like to see the fast break offense get going. Over to Montana. Versa took the pass, and Montana drains it. Versa passed up the shot. Wise decision. Montana, the sharpshooter, made him pay. Devaki Gar, not an air ball, sinks it from way downtown. 5-3, Ensworth gets on the board, but Ensworth a little late to get back, and Malik Dia gets the block. No foul. Coach Bowers makes sure that his guys are back every possession. You don't want to let up any free baskets after a nice made three from Devaki Gar.
The big answer from Gar. He was trying to find the range, missed his first two, but this is no surprise to us. We've seen him do this all season long. He doesn't stop shooting, shoot, and he shoots through every slump he's ever been in.
That's all any coach could ask for when you have a kid that shoots the ball. If they stop shooting it, they lose the confidence. Speaking of shooters, Will Montana misses that three. A little bit of an awkward footing there, and they're going to go all travel. I think they're going to get that one on Morgan, although I thought arguably you could have gotten Kamen Cook first under the basket. But
you're right. I think it could have gone either way, but Morgan very clearly took a step before he got the ball on the ground. Just mind working a little bit faster than the hands there.
And now Devaki Gar going over to half court. How can he be how can his performance as a playmaker show up tonight? That's going to be one of the keys in the end result of this game. McKinley takes the post fadeaway. They're going to call a jump ball, and possession arrow favoring NBA.
Good tie up there. Gaines getting in on rebounds just like we expect him to. NBA just lying in wait, able to get a few more hands on it.
So now Ensworth will have the possession area until the next jump ball. 3 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the first period. NBA leads 5-3. Montana with his third attempted three, now 1 for 3. Montana back on the cut, and that's going to be a block. Tough call there.
See, I thought that one looked more than a charge than the first charge call.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Thought the first one was a little late, but thought everything looked nice and square. But Montana will be rewarded with free throws. Good free throw shooter at the line. Makes the first. Yeah, Montana has the height and the scoring. We know he can get it done. Some inconsistencies, but he can forget all that tonight against a rival. The biggest time to show up. And so now checking into the game is Versa for Montana. And now Gaines passing it into Gar. Malik Diaz just going to have to get going. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. See what Coach Bowers draws up to get him the ball. They're going to call a foul on Josh Roberts. We know Roberts got the Dia assignment last game and didn't do too bad. See if Dia can take advantage this game. Dia in on the post. Roberts guarding. Over to Levi Moore. Out to Kelly. Kelly on the drive. Kelly back to Gar. Gar out to Levi Moore. Moore looking out to Gar. Back into Dia. Dia up and under. Dia unguardable when he can play like that. When he uses his physicality, his size, and quite frankly his agility to get under the defender's arm and put that one up.
Those are the kind of moves you need to see from Dia. When he has a one-on-one opportunity, it's so rare he has to take advantage.
He has been triple teamed so much this season. It's quite ridiculous. Devaki Gar back up the court being guarded by Marcel Reed, the dual athlete, offers from Alabama for football, but he can shoot the rock in basketball as well. NBA ball after some rebound fighting at the under the rim. Moore will check out and Gaines will check out. Wainwright and McKinley come back into the game for Ensworth. Ensworth trails 7-5 with 1:58 to go. So Versa looking, and Versa throws this one up in the air. Errant pass to Devaki Gar on the fast break, goes for the layup and misses it. McKinley on the rebound. McKinley gets it stuck in the rim, and that's going to be a jump ball ruling, right? I think you get
jump ball goes there, possession arrow favoring Ensworth.
Yeah.
And Gar slowing up a little bit. I think he was trying to draw contact with Hope for getting a three-point play. He had Marcel Reed on his hip, but just waited too long. You can't let that type of athlete catch up with you and challenge you at the rim. Just take the free points.
Yeah. Ensworth has to capitalize on the fast break tonight. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. Second time I said that one. Now Dia in. And Gaines on the follow-up. You know, I feel like what I'm saying is restricting the Ensworth game plan, but there's not a lot else that you can do with a certain amount of guys, and this team is just built for the fast break, defense, set up, get back quick, and get inside the paint. Good defense there. Montana wanted a foul. McKinley back up the court. McKinley out to Gar. Gar thought about it, now gets it into Dia, who gets double-teamed. Gar from the corner. Gar misses, and Roberts out on the fast break. And Gaines fights for the rebound, gets the offensive board, and gets a second chance bucket. And he misses and gets his own rebound and gets fouled underneath the rim, and he'll get free throws.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how they score that last just sort of sequence, because I think it was Bennett who pulled down that board and took off the other way, or pardon me, that was Cook. And then Gaines comes up, steals it. Yikes.
Yeah, I think that was the first time that any Ensworth Tiger has heard sound at the free throw line. Now, Gaines has had his struggles at the free throw line. Nothing like that. Uncharacteristic miss.
I don't think the Big Red faithful are going to let him forget that one.
Misses the second as well, 0 for 2, and MBA calls a timeout. So we're at our first break in this game. First quarter's gone by pretty fast.
Knock on wood right there, Max. You know what the broadcaster's curse does, but you're exactly right. Like you said, the first break, just a handful of fouls. 3 fouls on MBA, 2 on Ensworth. But really low scoring, 7-7. We're 7 minutes into this one.
Yeah, it is surprising. You know, this Ensworth team put up 98 in a game earlier this year. A different roster, but 80 points, 98 points, like 65 points. You were in that range for this Ensworth team. That average has gone down to the 40 to 50 range. And it's just a different style of play for Ensworth. Plain and simple. They've had to adapt. They've won some games doing it. And just as I feel it is in college basketball, high school basketball this year is so up in the air. Teams having to deal with so much adversity that whoever's ready to play on a given night can win. So we got a good one so far. 56 seconds, tie ball game, 7-7. Versa on the drive, Versa over. And they're going to call a blocking foul on Kelly. I thought they might just let that one go. Didn't feel like there was much contact either way.
Kelly was there in plenty of time. Versa looked like he did his best to avoid the contact. Kelly didn't lean. I'm not seeing a foul either side there.
So now Versa will get free throws. Last time NBA got to the line, they missed both. Versa makes the first there. Still getting used to the silence that comes over a crowd when the free throw goes up. But I guess at that point, this is the new normal for a little bit. And the players, like Nate said, could be affected by the side on both sides. So Versa goes up for the second and makes both. So 51 seconds. Ensworth has kind of been shaky in this last minute range of any quarter, just trying to find the right shot and sometimes turning the ball over because you're just looking for last shot. If I'm Coach Bowers, I'm just telling the guy to score the ball. Dia now taking on Morgan. Dia pull up from the mid-range, and that is a beautiful crossover into a pull-up jumper for the 4-star Malik Dia, who always wants to diversify his game.
He got Morgan reaching on one cross, went back the other side, a little bit of space, and he can extend his range that deep. We've seen Dia go beyond the three-point line a handful of times this season.
So now Francis out to Reed. Reed's had a quiet first quarter. So is everybody. Kind of forgot that there aren't many points to go around. 10 seconds on the clock. Will MBA find the last shot they want? Morgan playing from the high post. Reed from way downtown, and he sinks it at the buzzer. There's the announcer's curse. Just as I said it, Reed, the sharpshooter he is, knocks down a three at the end of the first period, giving NBA a 12-9 lead. I'm going to need a couple seconds to unpack that first quarter. It's a very unorthodox quarter of basketball. Not very pretty. Most points coming off free throws, it feels like. And, yeah, nobody's really been shooting the three ball besides that. 2 threes from NBA in the first.
You had Will Montana hit the first one. He's got 5 points. He's leading all scorers. Marcel Reed at the buzzer. And that's really the difference right there. Those two shots. Ensworth sticking in this. Listen, there's no pictures in a box score. It doesn't have to be pretty. If you want to win over your rival, sometimes you got to win ugly.
This is something that just happens so much in the sports world when it comes to awards, when it comes to ranking players. I think stats can be, now this sounds weird, a little overrated. I think when you go to a game and you watch players play, that is how you feel your impact. Case an example, Draymond Green does not have the top stats in the NBA every year in and year out, but he's kind of a Tony Gaines for that Golden State team. Just get the rebound, get the good pass, and drive and make some shots. And Ensworth, just quite frankly, like I've said, is not a CPA shooting team where you just knock down 15 threes a game. They have to get it done other ways, and so far they're sticking in this one. We're back for the start of the second. Ensworth trailing NBA 12-9. And Francis out to Reed. Reed's second three of the game, and he nails it. You can't let number 5 get going. The accuracy on the basketball court translates from the football field, and that's a turnover. Devaki Gar looking for Kenny McKinley or Gaines. Neither one came out to get the ball.
Now Gar is going to come out of the game after that one, get a quick breather. You could see a little frustration as he makes his way over to the bench.
And that's something that NBA will feed off of most likely with the help of their crowd. And Reed, heat check, misses. A little off there on the body weight position. Jump ball. And this will go back. Should be.
NBA got the ball to start the quarter, so possession arrow favoring the Tigers here.
Apologize. Didn't carry over. So Moore, the other quarterback. So here we go. Moore and Reed faced off against each other during the football year, and both of them were impressive. Here on the basketball court, Dia over to Wainwright. Wainwright thought about it. Wainwright looks for somebody. And NBA playing tight defense right now. Bennett on Moore. McKinley from downtown. McKinley misses. And that's the first three we've seen him take all year. Didn't look too bad. Just as long as you shoot it with confidence. Reed out in the corner to Bennett. Bennett hesitated, and Bennett knocked it down. And a little bit of a strike and spare animation on the Jumbotron at NBA for the three-pointer. All of a sudden a 9-point lead, and now they're going to call a foul on Bennett. Showed visible frustration after that call.
A slow start for both teams, but then a 6-0 run here for NBA in the first minute, 20 seconds of the second quarter. Like you said, Max, the difference is now 9. Ensworth getting doubled up here.
And so now, Devaki Gar setting up from the half court. Can he be the playmaker we know he has potential to be? He played on this varsity roster since he was an 8th grader. And so he is going to be basically like a 5th-year senior 2 years from now. But already impressive. Dia on the alley-oop. Gaines with a heck of a pass. And that's what we like to see Dia do. Aggressive cut to the basket. It feels like when you take some samples of Dia's game, he's got what it's got. He's got what you need to have in the toolbox, and we just feel like his development has progressed throughout the season in front of our eyes.
Absolutely, and that's something that you and I and Charlie talk about a lot off the air, just what he's looking like game to game, what he's added to that proverbial toolbox, what he can do. And there's another example of it.
And so now on the fast break off of the block, Gaines with the pull-up jumper, a little awkward there. And now Dia looking to kick it out. Resetting it up is Moore. Dia on the drive. Dia pulls back and airballs that. Surprising, he got the space on Roberts. And into Montana. Good pass from Bennett. Montana takes advantage. Back up to 9 is the lead for the Big Red. Gar's going to have to get going offensively as well. He goes on the drive and misses a tough layup. I thought he had a great look at it, just a little strong. Ensworth looking slightly uncomfortable right now. Reed coming off of the screen with the pump fake, crossing over on Gar, tried to pass it into Francis, and it will go off of the foot of Mason Curtis.
I want to go back a couple possessions toward Dia. He had that baseline floater and airball that he made some space, did a good job of going through the body of Roberts, but he's got to continue to go towards the rim in those situations instead of fading back after the contact.
And so now Ensworth will maintain possession there. A little bit of a bang-bang play on the rebound, but they will say that it goes off of MBA. Yeah, it was an interesting play there, but, he does such a good job on defense, too. He had that block just as we were calling that. But, Devaki Gar has got to get going as well. Yeah, it's just trying to find consistency on the offensive side of the ball. Kind of been missing for Ensworth. See if some players can step up in this biggest game of the season. No Dia in the game. McKinley's playing the low post. He fades away. He had a good look at it, too. Post game not going as well tonight. Francis on the drive. And right now, NBA is putting on a clinic on the two-man weave drill on the fast break, making the right pass. Gar tried to step it back. He goes for the awkward mid-range jumper and completely airballs it. He wants contact, and he's not going to get it, and that's going to feed NBA's crowd for the next 5 minutes or so. And NBA with an 11-point lead. So now NBA playing with pace and rhythm. I thought Montana traveled there, got away with one. Picked it up a little early. Montana coming off of the screen now. Versa trying to get going himself on offense, and this is the same kick-out play we see often from NBA. You got to think that they practice that constantly, where somebody drives to the basket and is ready to kick it out to the corner. Bennett chose not to shoot there. Nicky Bennett, number 11 in the game, brother of Arthur Bennett. So now Francis over to Montana. Montana on the drive. Misses. And Bennett on the save, and he throws it off of Wainwright's foot, and NBA will keep possession.
I missed fans, Max. I got to tell you, I would keep getting a little bit distracted because I see the NBA fans, and they just look like they're having fun. I miss this type of energy in a gym.
Yeah, it is definitely special to see. Montana turns it over on the inbound, gains over, and finishes on a good layup. A little bit of an awkward spin-off, but Gaines with the navigator ability to find the rim in midair. He does that a lot. And he gets 2 points off of it, cuts the lead back down to single digits. 9-point lead for NBA with 3 minutes and 50 to go in the second quarter. Gaines on the rebound. Montana getting awfully close with the hands. No foul called. Gar again on the air ball call. And into Dia. Dia looking. Dia fades away, and Dia knocks down the really tough post fadeaway. That's not a high percentage shot, but Dia knocks it down.
That might have been a little bit behind the backboard as well. It looked like he faded not only away from the hoop, but towards the baseline.
So now Wainwright taking on Montana. A little bit of a height difference there. Roberts into the corner to Bennett. Bennett gets Gaines on the pump fake. Back out to Roberts, back out to Montana. Great ball movement and almost made by Montana, but Roberts got really up there on the rebound and back out to Bennett. Good passing, and Bennett knocks down the three. That was college basketball-esque ball movement. Now
Really
Kelly
pretty.
wide open in the corner. He tries to go for the mid-range, and he awkwardly pump fakes in midair and misses there. Versa now looking. Versa goes for the floater, and Versa short. Dia with a good athletic rebound. Gar took it over half court again. trying to set up this half-court offense that Ensworth has not felt fluid out of in the past couple of games. Dia takes the drive. Dia goes up, and Dia gets fouled and one. Wow, he threw that hard off the backboard. I'm surprised it went in. Must have found the perfect angle.
Good aggression from Malik Dia. He got the ball on the perimeter, and we've seen him be a little hesitant this year to put the ball on the floor through traffic, but takes one dribble, couple steps, busts through a few defenders, gets fouled, strong finish.
And we're getting our answer for Coach Bowers on how to handle this 8-man rotation, and it's just constantly substituting, getting guys on the bench, getting their water. Dia now shooting his free throw.
Almost feels like hockey shifts, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Every time there's a stoppage, somebody's coming in and out for the Tigers.
You wonder if Coach Bowers almost set it up like a line system that they use in hockey. Now, Reed coming back up the court. He had a good beginning of the second quarter, been a little quiet since. And now Kamen Cook on the drive. Kamen Cook out to Dylan. Dylan over to Francis. Francis for three. Francis knocks it down. And MBA shooting the lights out in this second quarter.
Well, they're getting really good looks. The ball movement has been spectacular. They're playing just a gorgeous brand of basketball out here tonight.
And it makes it hard for Ensworth to stay in the game when NBA is getting three every possession. Dia goes up for the two over Kamen Cook. Cook had no chance there. And here we go, Dia getting going. Now you're going to have to put together some defensive stops on this side of the ball. Good rotation from Curtis, and a drive and a kick. Another open three, and this time Cook misses. McKinley fights for the board, and they're going to call a jump ball, and NBA will maintain possession. Morgan really fought for that one. It felt like Morgan and McKinley there are kind of the two macho men on this team.
Not really the biggest guys height-wise, but two big bodies. They got a lot of muscle on their frames, and that was a collision in midair and a collision with the gym floor when they both came down.
So now inbounding with 1 minute and 37 seconds to go is Cook. NBA with an 8-point lead. Reed coming off of the screen, pump fakes. Reed from mid-range. Reed on the pull-up jumper misses, but a deflection and a rebound. And now Francis with an open look, and he knocks it down. Second chance buckets, lethal for NBA. And it's easy when you have these kinds of looks from just a foot behind the three-point line. And now Gaines being double-teamed, out to Curtis, over to Moore. Moore out to Gar. Gar, I'm sure, trying to get it into Dia. Gar takes a deep step-back three and misses. Curtis with a good rebound, but they're going to call a foul. It looked like he did push off the back there a little bit.
Yeah, tried to get away with one just briefly. Not really a full push, just a little bit of a nudge, but enough for the refs to see it.
And Wainwright will come into the game for Gar. 1 minute and 4 seconds to go. I'm sure Ensworth would like to see the ball again before the end of this half. Down by double digits. So now Montana, who's had himself a decent game. Everybody's been passing the ball well. Francis is starting to heat up. Reed being guarded by Curtis. And now good rotations from Ensworth. Ensworth is pretty much switching on every screen. I wonder if that's resulting in some open shots. This time they seem to be doing a good job. But now Reed coming off the screen. Reed on Wainwright. Into Morgan. Morgan kicks it out to Versa. Versa on the pull-up mid-range. Versa misses, and they're going to call a foul on Montana, I think. Either Montana or Morgan. We'll wait for the call. They're going to get it on.
It looked like Morgan there.
Yeah. And that's actually important because I know that Morgan is getting big man minutes.
One of the only bodies on that NBA roster that can actually absorb some contact from Malik Dia.
We saw Gaw get the start, but doesn't get big minutes. We'll see how he is used down the line. Devaki Gar now with 27 seconds to go. What does Ensworth have drawn up? NBA playing press defense at the half-court line. McKinley over to Gar. Gar at the logo. Wainwright, 14 seconds and counting. Over to Gar. Gar back to Wainwright. They're going to go. 9 seconds. Tipped up in the air. Dia fights for it. Dia, 4 or 5 seconds. Dia kicks it over to McKinley. McKinley spins. McKinley shoots. McKinley misses. Basket will not count. NBA goes into the half after a frantic Ensworth possession. NBA leads 31-20. We'll be back at the start of the second half. And we are back for the second half of action. I'm Max Keller alongside the veteran Nate Stein. Been doing it for a little while now. We've had so much fun doing it all season long. Season coming to an end up in this next couple of weeks. And Ensworth is in a tight one.
Tight-ish.
In terms of the gameplay, the scoreboard says MBA 31-20 at the start of this third period. Ensworth is just one offensive click away. Not a good start there on the turnover. Versa taking it back up the court. Versa for the layup. He makes it. And you know that the potential is there, but NBA's ball movement has kept the lead where it's at. They knock down open threes just because of the kick-out aspect of their game. 13-point lead now. So we're ready for the second half of action. I'm expecting some big plays from Devaki Gar, Malik Dia. Even John Kelly got to get back into the shooting column. Dia being double-teamed, kicks it out to Kelly. Kelly back into Dia. Dia on the fadeaway. Dia can't knock it down, but Gaines on a great rebound on the pump fake and a hard foul. Morgan knocked Gaines all the way down.
It looks like they're going to lead this as a common foul. No particular conversation about it. I'm always curious when it's, I don't want to call that excessive contact because it's tough to see from up here. There are bodies in the way. But when there's more than the normal amount of contact, it's always kind of a question mark. But not even a conversation here with this officiating crew. And I respect that decision.
And so now we get a full view of, well, it's actually not a full view. It's a minor view. Nate Stein being introduced to the NBA free throw ritual where they create all sorts of distractions in the view of Ensworth players. We've seen it all from the parting of the sea where they all fall down to the right and left. Here they're just going to make some noise. Gaines knocks down the first.
Unperturbed by the noise in the fans.
He had that awkward free throw in the first half. He's had a nice game so far. Knocks down both free throws. So cuts the lead back to 11. Kind of been our base zero spot for the last 8 minutes of game or so. Ensworth trying to close that. So Will Montana bringing it back up the court. He can get going on offense. Versa, we know Francis had a great first half. So did Reed. Versa is that ball handler for NBA, kind of that Rajon Rondo type. Such a facilitator. Kamen Cook on the drive, kicks it out to Versa. Versa tries the three. Versa misses. And Roberts pushed Dia away, but Dia still gets the rebound. So now Gar setting up the half-court offense. Looks a little confused. Setting up the play. Ensworth, nobody cutting to the ball. Gar on the floater. Rebound McKinley. McKinley was hacked at. No foul call. And Dia and Miles Versa are on the floor. But meanwhile, back on the other end, a miss from Reed is cleaned up by Roberts. And back up to 13 is the lead for NBA with 6 minutes and 10 to go in the third. Ensworth has to have a half-court offense going. And they're going to call a foul on Malik Dia. Excellent acting by Marcel Reed to draw the fake contact.
Well, out of the half, all the bounces, all the whistles going NBA's direction so far. They've been able to extend up by 13 now, and they don't show signs of slowing down. They look like they're in a bit of a groove, and Ensworth, frankly, just looks still a little bit disjointed.
So now Versa bringing it back up the court, being taken on by Gar. Francis on the drive. Great steal from Gaines. Now Gaines on the other end. Gaines goes up against Montana. Foul and one. Blocking foul. Will Montana pushed to the ground. And free throws for Gaines, who's starting to get it going for Ensworth.
That's a very high-level play from Tony Gaines, seeking out the contact, but not doing it in a way to draw too much attention to himself, just jumping into the body of Montana. That's James Harden-esque.
It is. Tony Gaines on the free throw, good. If Tony Gaines had the James Harden jump shot, we're talking Mr. Basketball. He already does so much well. And he continues with that on that last possession. Roberts at the top of the key playing that big man role for NBA. Montana pulling up, and he falls to the ground, and then Roberts goes over the back of Gaines.
I'm trying to figure out
They're going to get a carry. That's what the referee is signaling.
He's making the carry signal, but
nobody knows what the call is. It's going to be a foul on Gaines. Gaines was just under the rim, not doing anything. That was all Roberts who jumped over him. Very confusing.
Yeah, I have no idea what just happened there, Max. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's not often that happens, but it felt like every ref was calling something different.
And now they're going to get a foul on Parker Wainwright, late to get to Will Montana on the rotation. Coach Slay, again, vocal leader from the sideline, coaching up Dia, a great mentorship we've seen develop all season. Coach Slay posted his posterizing dunk against Georgia from his Tennessee days after Keon Johnson for Tennessee had a monster slam dunk the other night. Bad miss from Montana. Dia Gar on the fast break, and that's an athletic finish. Devaki Gar, that's a Russell Westbrook-esque finish, altering the body, and now Marcel Reed slow to get back.
Yeah, he was reaching, it looked like holding on to one of his hands as he was off the court right in front of the NBA student section. He was really slow to get back.
Roberts traveled on the three-point attempt. Yeah, Reed is going to come out of the game and get medical attention.
Immediately, so we'll keep an eye on and keep you appraised of that situation. It looks like he's trying to wave off the attention right now, so hopefully just a stinger for his sake and for Nick Saban's sake.
Yes. Devaki Gar over to Gaines. Curtis hasn't going in the offense. Let's see if he gets involved in that role. And Ensworth just looks confused. You see guys at the top of the key just putting their hands up, not knowing what to do. Roberts goes for the dunk. We've seen him posterize somebody earlier in the season. That time he just tries to go for the one-hand simple finish. We know he can do a little bit more. And so now into Dia. Dia in the triple threat. Tries the mid-range jumper. Can't get it to work. And that's a good rebound there from Bennett. Bennett out to Cook. Cook almost carried, and he's going to dribble it off of his own leg. It's going to be Ensworth ball. Devaki Gar will come out of the game to come talk to Coach Bowers after that last turnover he made. And so now Levi Moore bringing it back up the court. Again, one of the role players for Ensworth that can shoot the ball. Not too many threes taken for an Ensworth at all tonight. Into Dia. Dia and B guarding by Francis, and they're going to get a foul on Francis in the paint.
It's a little too much with the body. It's really, when you're undersized, the only way you can guard a big man like Dia. He's going to try to take your money down low. Francis just doing a little too much and couldn't quite get away with it.
Curtis on the inbound. Curtis gets it all the way back out to Dia at the very top of the key. Gar back in the game after his conversation. Dia posting up. Dia is going to get called for a travel. He did pick up his pivot foot. Can't do that one. So now Kamen Cook inbounding to Versa. Cook and Versa, both primary ball handlers for this team, both on the floor at guards. Now they're going to get a carry on Versa. So both of those will just cancel each other out.
Usually when they call a carry at this level, it's fairly obvious. That one was a little bit more subtle. Ensworth with a chance to get it back to single digits here, down 10 with 3:54 in the third quarter.
Yeah, Ensworth is sitting at this 10-point range, and to be honest, stops are not going to be a luxury tonight. They've gotten a few, and they haven't taken advantage. Now into McKinley. McKinley turns around. McKinley goes up, and McKinley finishes hard off the bank. A little awkward footing there, but no call, and McKinley will cut the lead to 8. You love to see that from the low post. Versa coming off of a screen. Versa pulls up for mid-range. His shot has not been falling tonight. Gar on the fast break behind Cook. Gar goes up, and Gar wanted the foul call, and they're going to get a foul from behind. And I think they're going to get it on. I'm waiting to hear.
I think that's going to go against Arthur Bennett there.
Yeah. So Curtis tried to get it in. It's going to be almost a turnover. Ends up in the hands of Gar. Gar airballs. Curtis tried to go get it. It's going to go off of Bennett, and Ensworth will keep possession. Devaki Gar didn't get his eyes on the rim soon enough before he had to shoot that one, and Roberts was good on the closeout.
It looked like it was going to be just right place, right time for Gar. That ball kind of just rolls out to his feet. He's standing all alone at three-point line, but rushed it a little bit, but a very heady play by the freshman Curtis.
And McKinley getting big in the paint. Impressive stuff. And NBA is going to call a timeout. All of a sudden, This is a 6-point game.
Take stops, and that's what the Tigers have done so far. They've gotten the stops. Even when the defense hasn't been spectacular, they're at least getting a little bit of help from the Big Red, not making as many shots. Still playing a solid quarter, but with 3:07, to your point, Ensworth really cutting into this one.
Well, I haven't seen a single time this quarter a player on MBA drive into the paint and kick out. That's what they were doing the entire second quarter.
Ensworth packing the paint a little bit more. They've transitioned to try to keep two bigs on the floor, whether it's McKinley and Curtis, whether it's McKinley and Dia, whether it's Dia and Curtis. They want a little bit more length out there, at least to deter that. And I'd be curious to see if they wanted to go to a zone to try to fight that a little bit more, so everybody just has to stay in their area, and then you're not going to have that rotation and open shots on the perimeter.
Well, I say that it hasn't happened in the second quarter, but that idea is still on the table. You know, NBA might want to go back to that, especially now that Ensworth is right back in this. Ensworth is going to have to put together some stops, a lot less substituting this quarter for Ensworth than they did in the first half with this 8-man rotation. Pretty much sticking with their guys on the floor right now. Francis, the lethal slasher at the top of the key. Over to Reed. Reed back to Francis. Cook into Morgan. And now Cook wide open. Poor defense from McKinley, who didn't even get out there to put a hand up. And the lead is back up to 9. And this is how Ensworth can quickly fall out of line. Gar over to Gaines. Back into Dia. Dia being guarded by Morgan. Dia back out to Gaines. Gaines looking for the screen. Back out to Curtis. Curtis looking. Curtis over to Gar. Gaines. Dia over Morgan. Awkward air ball. And you saw that one coming. Now NBA running the floor with all 5. Gaines covered 3 of them on his own. That is one of the best defensive plays I've seen on the fast break in a long time. Reed coming over a screen. No hesitation. Knocks it down, and that's what Marcel Reed can do. He is an impressive wing. NBA has a player on their hands for both football and basketball.
I think it's safe to say that Marcel Reed is just fine after receiving a little bit of medical attention on the sideline.
Good to see him back into the game. Tony Gaines now posting up. Gaines over to Gar. Gar thought about it. Gar looks, hesitating for threes now. Gaines back into looking for Dia, but at this point, NBA knows exactly what Ensworth wants to do. McKinley, 6 points. Kenny McKinley is picking up the slack, and you wonder if they can divvy up some attention his way so Dia can get a free look. But NBA leads 43-33 with 1:18 to go in this third quarter. Reed pulled it back. Cayman Cook on the spin move. Overcommitted was McKinley, and Cayman Cook with a 3 and a 2 now. He's getting going, clapping on defense. And now Gar from way downtown misses, and that was just a desperate 3. You felt like Gar was trying to make up for the last 2 possessions on NBA's offensive side of the ball. Not the shot you want there. 50 seconds to go in the third quarter. NBA probably looking for the last shot. Morgan at the top of the key, as he's been doing all night, trying to get it into Francis. Francis back out. And Gar in a good defensive stance. Out to Bennett. And you just heard the NBA coach say last shot. So they will kill the next 30 seconds in an effort to get off the best shot. You will not see anything happen unless it's a turnover in the next 25 seconds. And now, good double team, and NBA will call a timeout. So with 20 seconds to go in the third quarter, NBA leads Ensworth 45-33. And it's kind of been the stalemate that the first quarter was, except this time NBA with the lead due to their second quarter performance. But this feels like that 9-9 ball game we had in the first quarter.
It does. This quarter has been more positive for Ensworth, other than that starting run that NBA went on, but they've been able to stick with them. It really just comes down to this Ensworth team. They put together 3 good quarters in most games, and it's that one that kills them. And they just need to find a way to improve on that in those 8 minutes. If they can put together 32 minutes, this is a spectacular team.
Yeah, and they got to be ready tournament-wise. And that's going to be a push on Levi Moore. Tried to force Miles Versa over the half-court line, and he'll get caught. with his hands on the body there. So now Cook, the inbounder, he's getting going in the second quarter, and that's going to be a charge. It should be, and it is, a charge against Montana.
That is the single calmest charge call I've ever seen. Not even a second hand up. He literally just pointed the opposite direction.
Tough going for number 0, Will Montana, tonight. Hasn't really got it on the offensive side of the ball, and he's been struggling as well with the foul trouble. Gar being pressured at the half court. MBA trying to get a steal. They're doing a good job. That's going to be a foul on Will Montana, reaching over the back. And again, I think that's the right call there. But Montana is picking up the fouls.
Just a little too aggressive from Montana. He came flying in. He wanted to be a help defender. He wanted to get in the face of Gar, but just too much contact.
So now Gaines looking to get it in, gets it into his wingman Dia. Now Gar on the blocked by Dylan, blocked by Francis. One of the best blocks you'll see. Now Reed at the buzzer. That would have been electric, but what a block from Jackson Francis. Pinned it. Devaki Gar had the perfect play coming off the inbound. And wow, impressive.
The back line. Francis just lying in wait. To your point, Max, a beautiful inbounds play, a little give and go action. Dia setting the screen as he hands it off to Gar. Gar thought he had a free run at it. Not the case. And we can't really hear what the Big Red Faithful are saying, but they are saying it at the Ensworth bench while they're trying to plan out their fourth quarter.
And not to be pessimistic, but Ensworth's sideline looks dead right now, and you have to think that 8-man rotation is starting to get to him in the long run. NBA with all the substitutes available. So now we're ready for the 8 minutes we have left in this rivalry game. NBA picked up the first win at Ensworth earlier this season. And we are in a battle. NBA up 12, and that was just extended more at the end of that third quarter. The lead has gotten down to 6 multiple times for NBA. Ensworth cuts back, but NBA pushing away in this rivalry matchup that, you know, Ensworth is motivated to win every year. Reed, it just looks easy. There's no other way to put it. I mean, his jump shot is effortless. And so now NBA up by 15. Wainwright looking, Wainwright back to Dia on the pick and pop. Dia shoots, Dia airballs it, and they're going to hear about that for the next couple possessions. Out to Francis. Francis almost went for the dunk on Wainwright, but he chooses to go for the layup. Based on that block we saw, we know he can go for the dunk. Now Gaines on the floater. They're going to call a charge. No basket.
That's an easy call.
This could be ugly. This could get ugly. 50-33 NBA. And NBA has got to be feeling very comfortable right now.
All the momentum is with the home team. All the energy is with the home team. Even just looking at the two benches, the Ensworth bench looks quiet. They're all sitting there. Everybody's standing and giving high fives when players come out of games.
Some substitution issues for Ensworth. There is no such thing as 6 men on the court in basketball because generally the referees are so clear about where the players substitute and giving the player the good sign to go on the court, unlike football where everybody's just frantically running onto the field. A little bit of an awkward situation. We're back to play, though, and Montana thought about shooting the 3. He's going to get it into Francis. What a pass. And now NBA 1 point away from having a 20-point lead with 6 minutes and 40 to go in the fourth quarter.
Is this something that we saw as a possibility with Ensworth's depleted roster, but the way they played, we thought they were going to avoid this type of game, possibly just running out of gas here as we get into the fourth.
And now Montana from 3. And this is starting to feel a little bit probably like practice for them. You got to think that this is just feeling like a shoot-around. 55-33, brutal gameplay right here. NBA picking it up on all levels, especially the three ball. McKinley too hard off the backboard there. And look for NBA to start milking up the clock. 6 minutes to go in the fourth. Out to Reed. Reed over to Montana. No shot clock in high school. NBA can take up much time as they want. Roberts over to Francis. Back out to Versa. Versa shooting. And Versa still can't get going tonight. Unfortunate miss there. He had a good look at it. Reed coming off the screen. Reed pops it. Reed effortless. Are we in a three-point shooting contest?
Not much of a contest at this point, unfortunately, for Ensworth. Down by 25 now in the fourth.
What a run NBA is going on right now. Wainwright shoots a three, and he knocks it down, and NBA cheers for him.
Max, I'm not sure those cheers are genuine.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes they're chanting Parkey. They generally pick some guys. Fred Butler's name if he was here. Some people that know some of the NBA players, they get the nod. But NBA in a good long run situation. 58-36, NBA winning. So now Bennett on the inbound. Over to Versa. Yeah, Versa's a confident ball handler, but he hasn't had the shot going tonight. And if you think you guys have to think if he did have it going, how big would the lead be? And wow, what a pump fake. Bennett thought about it, and Montana's going to turn it over, and he is dancing like a zebra after that call. Did not like that.
How does a zebra dance, Max?
Have you ever seen Madagascar?
Fair. You know what? You're right. You win this round.
Tony Gaines will be able to shoot two. So Morgan picks up his fourth foul. And this is the time of the game where we start vamping a little bit. Gaines on the first free throw. NBA chose to all sit down. This is one of their tactics. And they got quiet, doing the exact opposite of what most teams do during a free throw. And you just see the communication. They have a plan. Excited to see what happens. And Gaines makes the second.
A shout on the release. I was expecting a little bit more. I was expecting maybe a jump, and then a wave to one side. That's something that my high school back in Denver used to do. Yeah. Granted, we weren't behind the basket, so it didn't work quite as well.
Yeah.
But we tried from the sideline, get it out of the corner of their eye.
So NBA, like I said, you got to wonder at this point from the coaching staff if the message is just take the time, although I think they're having fun out there. They want to score. Speaking of which, Gaw back in the game. And now they're asking where Fred Butler is. Will Montana on the spin move up and under. No foul. No and one there.
I think you were more accurate with the no foul call. I don't think that should have been a foul. I didn't see a lean any direction. It looked like Dia held verticality, but Montana with two freebies.
Knocks down the first. Yeah, NBA could be a sneaky good team in the postseason, especially having only played 8 games. But I got my eye on Knox Catholic to repeat over there in Knoxville, as hinted by the name. Devaki Gar, and now Miles Versa coming off of the steal. He's fouled by Devaki Gar. Clearly frustration from Ensworth. Just not feeling it tonight.
Yeah, Gar swinging at that one like it was a volleyball setup for him. Just didn't quite get the timing down. Foul with the body.
And so now Versa. Good on the first free throw. And 1 for 2 for Versa. That one barely missed. we got the last 3 minutes and 50 seconds of action to go in this fourth quarter. Guard dribbling all over the place. Wainwright in the corner. Wainwright looking. Wainwright being clamped up. Dia in on the drive and one. Dia shuts him up. He'll get a free throw. I think, is it time for my kicks of the game? I think he's at the free throw line. I got to give my kicks of the game to Malik Dia, who isn't wearing the typical Ensworth shoe. There's a little bit of blue design in there, and I got to say, I like the shoe pattern there. Malik Dia receives the final Max Keller Shoe Award of the season.
The third and final.
The third and final.
Didn't want to go with the anybody from MBA this time. You usually go with the team someone that's not on Ensworth. I guess there's just a lot of white for MBA on the shoe game, so nothing really standing out. Some clean looks.
At Montana's. I think he's wearing some KDs over there, some all gray KDs.
Those don't have the wow factor though.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you. I wasn't accusing you of anything.
Yeah,
I was just questioning.
Yeah, and they're gonna get a step out of bounds on Reed. Not sure why NBA is too loud about that call as they're up by 20.
A lot can happen in 3.5 minutes, Max.
You're right. NBA.
I think we're going to get a technical foul or a bench warning at the very least.
A warning at the least. Yeah, it is going to be just a warning. So now Curtis on the inbound, over to Kelly. Kelly just looking for anybody. Ensworth has not set up from the half court well all night, and no travel call. Pretty crazy there. Levi Moore up and under. Good finish there. And now Francis back on the drive. Dia blocks, and I thought that went off of the shoe of Francis.
I think they're going to say went off the shoe of Dia instead, but I think I tend to agree with you there, Max.
So with exactly 3 minutes to go on the clock, NBA up by 18. Cook has this one poked away. Now Francis over to Cook, kicks it out to the corner. One more pass. Reed looked. Reed squares up, and now from way downtown, he's a little off, just short. And Levi Moore was not ready for that pass. Now Francis going up, and easy bucket there. Ensworth just turning the ball over now.
A little lazy down the stretch, and granted, it is hard to stay engaged in this type of game, but you think if you're on the losing end, you'd at least have a drive to make it a little bit closer for some pride points.
And no foul on Roberts on the inbound. Montana over, Montana drives, Montana up and under, and one. So Montana will get his shot at the line. A lot of free throws in the second half. It has gone very slow in this fourth quarter.
And especially the last 2 minutes. We made it to the second half of the fourth quarter just fine, but each team into the bonus now. Double bonus for NBA on the next foul.
And I think Tony Gaines also gets the same award. I just peeped that.
Yeah, they look like the same one. And there's a lot of that bright orange. I mean, you see Levi Moore with it right now.
I just think the blue does it for me, the addition of the blue in the back corner.
So a co-champion on the last game. Yeah. There you go.
So Wainwright now looking. Wainwright on the pull-up. Wainwright just off to the left. Good defense there for Montana. We creep under 2 minutes. No 2-minute warning in basketball, luckily. This clock is going to wind out in the next coming possessions. Reed over to Versa, and Wainwright tried to chip it. And now they're getting the seniors in the game. Up by 22, NBA nothing to lose, 1:44 to go. So, Versa in the corner, and they're going to get an illegal screen on Luke Jackson, I think.
Jackson entering the game, trying to make an impact, at least spring his teammate open, but just shuffled the feet a little bit.
So now Montana picking up more full court. McKinley on the drive. McKinley travels.
just been that kind of night. Every time the Tigers looks like they're going to start to get something going or start to get into their set, something goes wrong. They make a mental error. Not a great showing from the Tigers, at least not in this fourth.
And so now shout-outs to the press booth. Everybody's getting their shout-out from the MBA section. Luke Jackson on the cut thought about it. Jackson over to Max Dillon, and Versa now at the top of the key. Versa from mid-range and out to Dillon, who let that one slip through the hands. And so Levi Moore over to Wainwright. Dia up. Dia goes up and is fouled. Dia has had quietly a lot of points tonight, I'm sure. But again, not a lot of points to be had. MBA 64. Ensworth only 42 points. Not a lot of rhythm, especially when setting up at the half court.
Yeah, disjointed, awkward, choppy. This Ensworth team just hasn't been able to get into a groove. And it's something that isn't just a tonight issue. It's something that's plagued them this second half of the season. It's just a bummer to see. It's a team that has a ton of potential. They have a lot of talent. Need to fit those pieces together to find the puzzle.
Now number 12, Ingram hit in the game. He gets the ball. Out to Max Dillon. Dillon into Gaw. Gaw from the mid-range. Gaw knocks it down. And NBA living it up on the sideline.
I won't say I condone taunting, but on a night like senior night, when it's a senior who doesn't usually get in the game a whole lot, I do like seeing them celebrate, and I do like that NBA let some fans into the house tonight so they could give these seniors their moment.
And wow, Kelly got lost on that crossover. Bennett thought he might have traveled. Short on the three there. Gaw looking. Gaw crossover. Gaw on the drive. Gaw blocked. Bennett on the pickup. Bennett tried to go behind the back, and Ensworth just trying to hold on to the basketball. It's going to go off of the foot of Moore. 11 seconds to go. We'll see if NBA shoots a shot here. This is going to be a respect issue or not.
I think they'll shoot it. I don't think it'll be a respect issue. I think it's more of the seniors being in the game. We might get one more shot at the buzzer, although
it doesn't look like it.
The way Hit pulled it back, that's a class act right there. I don't think anybody in this gym would have blamed him if, as a senior, he wanted to get one more shot off.
And so Ensworth loses the season series, 2-0. NBA with an impressive senior night victory, 66-44. You got anything else for us, Nate?
I don't. It's been a tough second half of the season for the Tigers. They're losing guys. They're playing without a full roster. And you just hope they can bounce back tomorrow night against Clarksville.
Yeah, you just hope they can get their minds right there. But that will do it. We appreciate you tuning in. I'm Max Keller alongside Nate Stein. We hope you have a phenomenal weekend. Stay safe out there with the weather. And this is signing off. Ensworth Live. Thank you for tuning in.